Hey guys, can everybody?
Hello.
Let's see. I think I'm muted.
No, I can hear you.
All right, cool. How's everybody doing?
Right?
Great, man. We got a great response for this. This is fantastic.
I'm trying to go through and unmute people now. See if
Okay.
my video is working. Where's my
Will you also make sure I can share my screen so that when I start talking about what I want our agenda for today, I can illustrate some stuff?
Is yours just set as Bob? Oh, Medicare Bob. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a Bobby on here and that was confusing.
Oh,
Hold on just a second. Make see if you get a thing where I made you post.
oh, I can do a share screen. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, I won't right now, but I can do that.
Sweet. Sorry for the delay, guys. Actually,
Should I hit record?
Yes. Well, I can. It's already recording. It's already recording.
Okay.
I'm recording it locally. Hey, yeah, sorry for the delay. The time zone thing messes me and Bob up a lot. We get confused which time zone we're in. And I just got off the phone and wrote a med stuff and a dental policy and a drug plan. So, and did anybody see the Envision email that went out and it says they're no longer requiring, they are not requiring, what was I going to say? Face-to-face sales. They're not requiring it at all. Requiring you to have even a scope signed at the time of the appointment right now.
Wow.
So, yeah, we are in a deregulation period of every industry right now.
Nice.
Gonna make phone sales easier. So they're saying, like theirs is saying, hey, we want you to get it later, but we're just basically saying you can go ahead with the enrollment and then maybe mail them that later. And they said something about you can even send somebody and get them to send you a picture of it or something like that they signed it, or you can even do an audio recording of them agreeing to enroll, and that would count.
Yeah. So it's Wild Wild West. So, all right, guys. Hey, so I just wanted to thank everybody for signing up. And if you guys ever feel you guys are not getting value out of what we're working with here, just let us know, because my biggest thing that I want to make sure happens is that I want you guys to all be very successful. This is not something that I'm doing that I want to not work. I mean, I definitely want you guys to feel competent in being able to sell over the phone. And I'm really excited to work with each of you guys and do that. Brock and I had a meeting last night about what we would like for this week's agenda to be. So the reality is each one of you guys are kind of in a different spot. Some of you have sold Medicare face-to-face and you guys are looking to learn how to sell it over the phone. Some of you have sold final expense over the phone, and now you're looking at how could I add Medicare to that. Some of you have sold Medicare over the phone before, but you're thinking, hey, these guys might be able to teach me a couple things about it as well. So here's what I was thinking of as a agenda. For today's call, it's an introductory call, and then giving you what this week's agenda is going to be. And then I was going to do another webinar on, so today what I would like to talk about is understanding how to develop a marketing budget. And so how I learned that the hard way. So I just kind of, maybe some of you guys already know how to do that, but I'll just kind of tell you guys how I do it, and maybe that will help you or maybe not. And then Wednesday, I'm going to do an optional webinar that we'll also share to the page. Brock, I don't think will be there for that, but I'm going to go over my educational pitch. So what I give to our agents and how we teach them Medicare. So if you've never sold, even if you have sold Medicare over the phone, I think our pitch, we have a very high success rate with it. But you might have your own, but we're going to record that one as well. And that way, you don't necessarily have to, I'd love for you guys to attend, because we can do like a question and answer thing at the end. I sent my kids to the pool, but we have one in the backyard, but they're out there. So I get it. No worries. So Wednesday, I'm going to do so today I would like to go over like how we determine a marketing budget. Wednesday, I'm going to go over our educational pitch. Friday, I'm going to go over our Medigap to Medigap pitch, which is really good. I mean, I've been hired by Transact, Health Plan One, Go Medigap, which is now eHealth. I've traveled with that pitch, and it's really helped a lot of agents, because a lot of agents mess up the supplement to supplement pitch. I did post our underwriting guide. Did you guys see that on the page?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys, anybody have a chance to take a look at it?
Yes, I liked it a lot.
Okay, cool. I update that from time to time, so I'll let you guys know when I update and post that. It's pretty cool though. What a lot of our agents do is we usually have two screens, and they'll open up the Word document and then they'll control find a condition, and then that will help them see where they can go. Okay, so introductory. So I kind of do, if it's okay with you, Brock. I think, I don't know if but introductory call. I kind of want everyone to introduce themselves and like give like a little 30-second pitch of like, what their background is, and I'm gonna do my best to take notes on that. So I'll start. I think so. My name's Robert. Obviously, I worked at Transact for 3 years. Sold Medicare supplements over the phone. I was Mutual Omaha's top producer for 3 straight years. I sold over 1,000 policies by myself out of my seat for 3 straight years, and then opened up my agency in 2012. And we are a top 5 producing Medicare supplement agency in the country. I've been a top producer for other carriers individually as well. And yeah, so it's been a lot of learning process. We don't buy any leads. We generate all of our own leads. We do YouTube, Facebook advertising, PPC, stuff like that. And I have 35 people that work for me. 18 are selling agents. And that's a little bit about myself. And my goal with this is to help people that want to learn how to sell this over the phone and help you guys be successful. Because I know I think that this is really going to be a trend for at least the rest of the year. I don't think come annual enrollment, things are going to be back to normal. If I'm wrong, great. But if you could disagree with me, and that's okay. But I don't think that in October and November, seniors are going to magically prefer to have somebody in their house compared to maybe being able to do it by phone. So I would like to help you guys be prepared to do it either way. If you guys are currently doing face-to-face and you have agents that want to continue to do that, or clients, great. If you have prospects and clients that would really do it over the phone, my goal is to help prepare you for that. So that's who I am. So I think Dylan, you can go next. Or Brock, you can go next if you'd like.
Okay, I'll go next. Yeah, so I'm Justin Brock. Obviously, several of you probably know who I am, but run Medicare Gurus. We run a large agency that does 50% on the phone. I don't know the exact statistic, but we've always done about 50-50 face-to-face over phone. A lot more face-to-face in AEP. And so some of this stuff that's going on has even made us kind of, wonder like what AEP could look like, what's possible. We have our own timeline of how I might envision this going, but we've all converted to remote sales at this point. And we're all selling over the phone. Interestingly, without our in-person sales, our sales have not gone down at all so far. And we actually started last Monday doing it remote. Well, not last Monday, the Thursday before that. So we've been doing it now this way for a while. And even before that, we had closed our office to walk-in traffic as soon as this whole mess started back at the end of February. So we're probably early to quit meeting with people, which has helped us get a little bit further along. And even though we were used to selling on the phone, it has been an adjustment because we've started doing a lot of remote training. And I think even Bob's having to do some of this is, we're used to at least being there with your agents and being able to fire them up and see what they're doing. And now we're doing that kind of remotely and talking to each other. But it's been fun. It's been, we're actually having a lot of fun with it. We got text groups going and all that. But I don't want to stray too far from the target. My goal is to help help with this. Bob is I would say the master of the Medicare supplement pitch, the Medicare supplement underwritten pitch, especially. He does a lot of turn 65 as well, but they go after the underwritten cases. And in the future, I'm sure he'll talk about some of the benefits of that, as well as some of the struggles. We do a lot of ancillary sales too, and we do some under 65 health as well. A little bit of final expense here. I plan on for a couple of the guys that were, final expense, heavy or under 65 heavy or anything like that, bringing in some people that are doing telesales on final expense. And it is possible that you can kind of manipulate this program to help you in different ways because we are different. And so on Wednesday, Bob's doing a training like that. And then on the schedule, I'm going to come in and do 1-2 where I talk about some of the under 65 and ancillary cross selling and then how we are able to cross-sell on the phone, because a lot of you know me about talking about cross-selling in the past. So we're trying to show you how we do that on the phone, and how we're doing a lot of dental, vision, hearing, cancer. And at some point, I'll probably talk a little bit on under 65 health, because it might supplement what you guys are already doing as well. But that gives you a few things. So it's not all MedSup, but I do think that it's a great time, if you're making any kind of shift in your business, to focus on a little bit of MedSup as well. So anyway, I've rattled on too long. Dylan, if you want to, if you can go next. I don't know if I have to unmute you or if you guys have muted.
I think can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm started off as a final expense agent about, I guess it's been a little over 5 years ago, and then added in Medicare, because most of my clients were also Medicare clients. So I started adding that in, which I'm glad I did, everything going on now. So I've been in it for a few years, but I'm a field agent. I've never, I've always wanted to do this over the phone, or at least like mix it up, kind of a hybrid, because I like to get out of the house, just used to that, but I would like to be able to do this over the phone. My wife helps me with the business. She sets all my appointments and kind of manages all the leads. And I'm in Texas, by the way. I'm north of Houston. And so just my goal, I just want to be here closer to family. I'm always, a lot of times I'll be out of town,
So Dylan, I thank you for sharing that. So I will, just so you know, like by next, what is today, Monday? By next Monday, you will have a educational pitch, and you will have a Medigap to Medigap pitch that you will have to where you'll be well versed in it, and it's both are proven. So this week will be a big week for you, because by next Monday you'll be able to do what you're trying to do on Medicare there. So that's going to be great. Sorry, I talked again. I'll be quiet.
That's okay. I appreciate that. Yeah. How do you guys, I'm sorry, I don't mean to start asking questions already, but how do you guys, I'm used to working direct mail pieces. What type of lead sources are you going to be talking about? Something you can get up and running right away.
Facebook. Facebook's going to be your easiest way. I mean, that's something, I generate 800 leads, 600 to 800 leads on Facebook, which part of something that Brock and I are talking about doing with this group is maybe actually managing Facebook campaigns for you guys, or helping you guys do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to talk about cost per acquisition today, and give you guys realistic expectations, because I think, you got to know how to sell the product, but you could sell it, I want to teach you guys how to have a goal of like, what is my target cost per acquisition? And that way I'll show you guys today how you can target a marketing cost. Like we'll go over that today, and that will help you decide what type of marketing avenues you can go down and still be profitable.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Good question. But yeah, no, leads is definitely something we'll talk about today, because I think the three things, right, is how do we sell the product? How do we get leads and get in front of people? And then also capital, right? Like how do we do it and not lose our butts right away? So
Right.
good questions. So thanks for sharing that, Dylan. Let's see. Garrett, I'm just kind of going here in order of what's showing up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Hey, so real quick with me, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So real quick with me, I'm on my iPad right now. I am insurance broker. I got into it in about 2013. Worked with some guys in the under 65 market for a while, did a lot of face-to-face. Left there, started doing mainly Medicare, did WellCare captive for a little while during all that time. I started a YouTube channel and put a bunch of videos out. I had some telemarketers in the Philippines calling out for me. And so I've done quite a bit. So really, where am I trying to get? I haven't perfected my Facebook advertising, and I really want to learn to do that well. And secondly, I want to build a little crew up of agents, my downlines, where they can do it over the phone, and we can touch a lot more people rather than driving out and doing face-to-face all the time. So, I've got a pretty good understanding of a lot of what you guys are talking about, but, I'm a novice. I'm not a master by any means like you guys are. So I'm hoping to learn a lot to help me put it all together.
Awesome. And the only reason why I've gotten good at some of these marketing things is I failed fast, and failing is financing your education. That's what I always say. So I've tried everything, and or I try everything and fail, and then that's how I kind of learn, and I justify it in my head that I'm learning.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be able to. If anything else, just I built the downline kind of model, but more of a like a call center style. So a lot of the stuff that I'll be able to provide to you is like if you need an employee handbook, if you need the scripts that I'm going to give to you guys, you are more than welcome to share with your team as you try to grow it. You know, and our underwriting guide. There's a lot of things that you know I'm where you were at 10 years ago. So you know any resource
Yeah,
that
I don't know the model you guys use. I mean, one of the things that confuses me a little bit, do you bring agents in and let them ride as agents, or do you pay them hourly and kick them spiffs if they do good? I mean, I'm trying to figure that part out.
Yeah. So there's the answer to your question is there's every option. I can't speak for Brock here, and some other people might have on this group, but I currently have done the model, and how I built it is I have agents are LOAs, meaning they assign their commissions to me, and I pay them hourly and I pay them a bonus, and then I make money on the renewals. So I'll have a cost per acquisition, which we'll talk about today, target, and you know, and it might be out of an enrollment, it might be $800, $900, but I know come month, you know, month 30 and on, I'm going to make money because I don't pay the agents that. But there's some people who like to pay agents some renewals as a retention tool. So there's different ways. I currently, because I provide all the leads for them, I don't, you know, I keep all the renewals and pay them, you know, anywhere between. I have agents. Our average agent makes 50 to 55. I've got a couple guys that make over 100. But when you're building an agency, you know, you're going to have your top 15% of people and your bottom 15%, and you're not really going to build your business around those two groups. Where you really build your business is that 70% of the people. That's how you get real growth, because you know they're going to stay with you and be consistent. Your top guys, you know, I've had one with me now for 3 years. He's fantastic and he's great. Why he still works for me, you know, is one of the reasons we've been best friends since we were kids. I think, and he does really well, and he doesn't have to risk any of his money. You know, he makes a lot of money. He's a young family guy, great guy, great on the phones. But you know, you can get great talent like that, but he's an anomaly. I mean, if I could build my agency with 30 of him, it would be amazing. But those guys or girls don't come around as often as we hope. And then you got your bottom 15%, where I'm always guilty of keeping them too long, to be honest with you. I have to do a better job. You know, I have to do a better job of that because they do cost you a lot of money. But you know, your middle 70%, normally, at least where I live here in Florida, if they can make 50 to 75 grand a year, you know, they're usually they're pretty happy. They get to come in, clock in, and then clock out to leave. They don't have to stay up at night like we do building a business. And
yeah, I'm in the panhandle, so I understand completely.
And then something that, based on this group, to be honest with you, there's 2 people that joined the group that have asked Brock and I to help them, and we're working on a deal with them to be career agents for us. And so what that's going to entail is they're actually going to get contracted under us, and we're going to help them build their own business where they put up their own money. So my agents don't put up any money currently, right? So they just come in, they clock in, they do that. But Brock and I, we've got a couple people that, and this is all very fluent, guys. This is all just happening. This is not some big business plan that Brock and I have been planning that this was going to happen. But so we're kind of putting together a package that if any of you guys want to learn more about, you know, we could talk about it. But it's where we're actually going to help them. Like we're build them a Facebook page, build them a YouTube channel, help them generate their own leads. And they're going to get contracted under us, and we're going to call that career agents. So, you know, it's very fluent right now, you know, just kind of, but currently the way I've built it, to answer your question, Garrett, is they assign their commissions to us, and then they clock in, we pay them hourly, and they get a bonus.
Thanks.
All right. So let's see who's next. Mitchell, do you want to go next, bud?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate that. Can everybody hear me? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small area in central Illinois, grew up on a farm, still located in that small farm town. And about 7 years ago, I started face-to-face with a group that handed me a plat map. selling cancer, heart attack, stroke, and accident policies door to door. Really loved face-to-face sales. I love going in the house, finding pictures on the walls, finding your way inside the home, building that rapport. And probably this YouTube and Facebook advertising for a while. The company that I work for isn't necessarily helping us get to where we need to go. I'm looking for help in getting that internet generation. I've actually ordered some leads from Brock here about 8-9 days ago. Can't wait to see those, the $20 leads. Just trying to do some new things to get my agency moving in the right direction. And out of everything that happened and all the fear out there, I'm kind of excited because I'm moving into the 21st century and I won't have to go to houses 2 hours in every direction all day, every day, and knock on doors from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night with brand new agents. So I'm here to learn. I'm here. I picked you guys out because I've been following you guys for a long time. Cody Crooms, who's a friend of Cody Askins, had recommended you fellas. And so I'm here to learn. I'm here to get better. And I want to be one of the best. I want to be one of those top 5 agencies someday that I can say, and when I'm helping agents 5 to 10 years down the road here. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to learning.
Awesome. Sounds like you have a great work ethic, man. I mean, if you have the mental capacity to go door to door, you're gonna do really well on the phones. So good job.
It's intimidating, the phones are, because you get so used to picking something in the driveway to talk to someone about, or talking at the house face to face. They don't see you as a stranger anymore, even though we've never met before. Over the phones is an intimidating thing to me, because I did a dialer 3 years ago to cold call to set appointments, and we were 400 to 600 phone calls a day, and I was struggling to set 3 to 7 appointments by phone. It has not been my forte, and so I need to learn. And the hardest words for me to say are, I don't know, and I need help. And I'm here saying both of them.
That's great, man. I mean, and you'll, the cool thing too about this group is you'll see that, I think at least, people are doing it, right? So like, if you have a rough day, a rough 2 or 3 days, it's doable. And I think knowing that it's doable, I think helps. Like knowing that it's obtainable, I think will help, because you're going to have a, good week, a bad week, a great day, a bad day. But it is doable, as far as like, doing this over the phone. I mean, that's the main thing is that I want to show, is like, I'm not super, at anything, but it's doable. And if I always say it's so easy, I can do it. So, but it's really not easy. It's just but we'll teach you how to do it. And you'll be, if you're willing to put in the work, like it sounds like you are, then you'll do, I think you'll be fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Are all the guys going first? I know there's a couple women in the group.
Jack.
Jackie or Rob, anybody? We're kind of being rude over here. Or they leave already?
No, Jackie, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm on my new headset, so
It's working.
what do you want me to say?
Just, are you have you done this face to face, or are you in person? Stuff like that.
I posted in the group, but I've been licensed since 2008, and I was captive with Bankers Life and Casualty for 5 years, but I excelled in the company. I was a unit sales manager, and at one point before that, I was a recruiter. So I learned a lot, and they're very big on the cross sale. So I did a lot of annuities and stuff. And then I grew up and learned about the captive situation. So I left and started an agency with a partner, and things were going well, but there was a difference in opinion. So we kind of parted ways. So then in 2016, I left and became a national sales manager for a company called Nespresso. And I did that for 3 years. I'm also a licensed trauma therapist. So I have
That's going to be handy.
That's my, yeah, I know, right? That's my education, where my education falls in. So in between all of this, I've always have taken on some files and work, and I took the month off in February, just this past February, and opened up 4 trauma centers as a acting director for my previous boss. So I'm a little busy. Moving forward, I built a CRM. So I'm super interested. I realize that's not exactly what we're doing here, but I've been studying like all the drip marketing and the psychology of it, and the SMS and voice drops and blah, 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 blah. So I'm super excited to learn all of this the right way, and also incorporate this with my system, because obviously the phone sales and the system, perfect, right? So, I have a dialer, I have everything set up. So I'm excited. And here I am. Thank
That's
you.
great. All right. And that's great.
I think
Okay.
Victoria was trying to come on there a minute ago. Can you?
All right, Victoria. I feel like we're at an AA meeting, by the way. I hope that's not insensitive.
Oh my God, right?
This is how AA meetings are being done right now, by the way.
Probably why I go grab my Jack and Coke, but oh, that was not nice. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Victoria.
Okay, I'm drinking vodka right now, so I'm just joking. No, my name's Victoria Cabrera. Yeah, I posted something on the Facebook page, but I've been in insurance for about 15 years, mainly in health insurance. And in '05, I had started with Humana kind of as a telesales rep over the phone. So my background has always been phone sales, but in 2013, when I left, being salaried employee, I decided to go 100% 1099 commission with an energy consulting firm. Kind of got tired of insurance for a little bit, needed a break, but then I realized quickly that I needed to go back. So I started back as an independent agent in 2015, selling Medicare 100% face-to-face. I grasped to it pretty quickly because my background has always been in health insurance. And in that 5 years, I've been selling face to face. I built a team of 25 agents, all independent, of course. And my goal really out of this is to strengthen back my telesales skills that I had prior, years before. I'm a little rusty, and really try to hone in more on the Medigap side, because I do sell Medigap, but I really want to focus on getting my business a little bit more balanced, not just in Medicare Advantage. So I think I have the Medicare Advantage side down. The Medigap I really want to learn, and also building an arm of my agency where, kind of like you guys have that arm of agents that are not necessarily independent, but I need to duplicate myself. I'm wearing way too many hats that I feel like it's taken away from my sales, and I really need to be able to duplicate myself. But before I do that, I really want to train up individuals to be able to do it, but I have to be able to show them. And the phone sales is I really want to just get this down to a science, to get my processes in order. So I'm glad you were talking about the Medigap and employee policies and stuff like this, because that's exactly what I need. That I haven't been able to get that one-on-one with my current NMA or IMO to help build that out.
Yeah, I'm guilty of, you'll see. I mean, I was, when I used to buy leads from Health Plan One, so I kind of helped Health Plan One. I used to buy leads when I first started in the business, and they were my upline at the time. So they would give me a discount on their Medicare Advantage leads, and my office would go to sell them. And they were just mind boggled because they were sending me what their system would show as Medicare Advantage leads, and we were selling 90% Medigap. So you'll see in my pitches and stuff I teach, I try not to be biased, but we are out of annual enrollment, 86 to 90% Medigap sales, even on educational pitches. So maybe that's how we generate leads, or maybe it's just our pitch, but you'll definitely be well-versed, and you can take what you're already doing with Medicare Advantage, and I'll definitely be able to help you on the Medigap side. Definitely.
Yeah. And I do have a little bit of knowledge on digital marketing. I started training myself on that about 1.5 years ago, and building out the YouTube channel, building out my Facebook ads, building out YouTube ads. It gets tough because, again, you wear so many hats and you're still trying to maintain your sales, so
Yep.
Just trying to, learn from you guys and best practices, and really get my dream has always been to have a call center type environment, whether it's 5 people or 50 people. And so I'm trying to just, like I said, partner with the right people, get best practices that I can from people that are already doing it.
Awesome. All right. Let's see. Who would like to go next? Brian or Nolan? You guys are chilling, or Josh? Anybody? Jerry?
Yeah, I'll chime in. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I posted my
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
my
think I
little
read your
yeah.
bio.
So yeah, I mean, got my start with Humana. That's a good job, you know. Everything was provided for you, preset appointments. Um, you know, in the first 3 years, honestly, it was work AEP, and I think they had OEP was kind of big back then
Yep.
too. But you know, and in the summertime, I really didn't do much. I didn't check if I went to my Walmart station. I just played golf, you know. So, um, but you know, and then they started cracking down and wanting you to sell these ancillary products, which I guess was fine, but you know, they just taught you product knowledge. They didn't really teach you, you know, how to sell these products. So, you know, I felt a lot of pressure. It wasn't a fun job anymore, and that's kind of when I'd moved down to Moab, which I don't know who's familiar with Moab, Utah, but
Utah. Okay.
you know, it's only a town of 5,000 people, but big tourist town. Was a big tourist town. Could be anywhere from 40 to 50,000 people on any given weekend. So, you know, on a percentage wise, if you look at my book of business, I think I have 950 clients. In Moab, I think I have 300. So I guess that's pretty good for my little community. And
Got
then
the whole city.
yeah, yeah, and then I do a lot of, you know, I guess a big draw here is to be able to do this over the phone, because obviously it's a small community. 300 is okay, but I still have, you know, 650 in Grand Junction, Colorado. And, you know, I've driven my butt off, and I'm just, not that I'm old, but I'm 46. I'm burnt out on driving. You know, I've driven a lot. So, to appointments, I've driven 3 hours for one med sup appointment, you know? So, and I've dabbled in things, kind of like I think Mark was saying, you know, a little bit of YouTube, a little bit of Facebook, nothing really successful. You know, I've dropped $1,000, $2,000 here, and you know, you walk away with maybe 1 or 2 sales. I'm just like, I'm not getting my ROI, you know. So,
Yep.
glad to be here and really want to learn from you guys. So,
Awesome.
You definitely work harder than me, Brian. It took me about 1 year to realize that driving around 45 minutes in one direction to go an hour and 20 in another was not for me.
Yeah, it's horrible.
All right. So let's see. Who wants to go next? Is Robin still around? Let's see.
I am here. Yeah, I can go.
You have by far the most professional picture, right? We can see right now.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's
Everybody
fine. That's my professional headshot. You know, I had to sign on for a Zoom account. I don't remember, a year ago or something. So I started Final Expense back in spring of 2018, but I'd been doing life insurance with New York Life prior to that for a few years. Literally hated it, handcuffs and all that. And so, you know,
Face to face.
Face to face. Yeah, face to face. And last year I did some telesales, but I didn't have any training on it. And what I learned, you know, over trying to teach my agents is, hey, forget those e-signatures. Like, just go with a phone interview. If they can get approved, you know, without having to send any technology to these seniors, go that route. And I think that's helped. But you know, now I'm trying to get myself in the game, learning how to really effectively do the telesales process, because I have an agency depending on me. Jackie's with me for Final Expense, and she actually led me here. So thanks so much, Jackie. I followed Justin Brock for the last, I don't know, golly, couple of years or so. And I know who the leaders in this industry are, so I feel very privileged to be a part of this group, and I know that I'm plugged into the right folks. My goals for, you know, what I want to get out of this is, I don't do Med Sup. I can do Med Advantage. Med Sup has that little thing called underwriting, and I'm good with Final Expense underwriting, but Med Sup, you know, I'm always catching these people. For Final Expense, my clients are 70, 75, 80, at which point, you know, Med Sup underwriting is more labor intensive. And so, you know, but getting into the T65 market, really capturing them early, that would be ideal. And then comprehensive, I'm all into cross-selling. Medicare, Final Expense, regardless of what kind of life insurance volume that is, right? And annuities, the hospital indemnity, the cancer plans. Justin, I am super interested in U65 Health over the phone. I have the contracts, but I've got to have the leads. That's kind of a big deal. I do run our own agency Facebook page group, ads for leads. So that helps, but I'm only doing that for final expense. I need to do it for Medicare. You know, it needs to build out. And so I've got people that I'm responsible for, my sales, like Victoria said, I've got my own sales volume that I want to accomplish and achieve. And I am wearing way too many hats, and I'm hoping that this is just for this season because I'm ready to get back into the selling seat. So
Well,
here,
I don't know if you're aware of this. So you're handling the Facebook ads for final expense, right? So
Uh-huh.
are you aware that you can go to a certain website that Facebook provides where you can see everybody else's ads?
I tried, but it seems like folks have kind of taken their stuff down, or they've got ghost pages that,
No.
I'm not familiar with.
So they used to be that button on everyone's Facebook page where you could see ads running. So they've done away with that. But for transparency, if you jot this down, you can go to facebook.com
Uh-huh.
/ads/library.
Okay.
And you can take a look, I believe, let me just double check that's the right. Yep. All right. So you can type, and everybody, you guys can all do this, but but you can actually look at anybody. They can go to MedicareSupplement.com. You can see what Transact's doing. You could go to Boomer Benefits, see what ads they're running. So if you're already running Facebook ads and you want to see, well, what are the people that are spending millions of dollars on Facebook doing? You can actually go see their ads.
Okay.
So it's all right there at that library. And now you're going to see some that it actually shows their spend. That's not 100% accurate, but some companies outsource their spending, so it doesn't show that. But even in final expense, you can see what New York Life's running or whoever. I'm not a final expense person, so sorry if that was an ignorant. I don't know who does it, but if you have other agencies that that are doing it, and you're like, man, how are they getting Facebook leads and this and that? You can go to that ads library, and that will show you what every ad. It's part of Facebook's Transparency Act. So that's a good tool there.
Very helpful. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. So nice to meet you. And you'll, again, over the next week or so, we'll definitely get you affluent on Medicare. I know you already know Advantage, but Medigap as well. And you'll be great. Because if you guys have an Advantage background, final expense background, Medigap is just so easy. And what Brock was talking about on underwritten cases, when we calculate a cost per acquisition, keep in mind on underwritten business, you get usually an extra bonus now with a lot of the carriers. So, usually an extra, what is it, Brock, 150?
Most of them is depending on the carrier, 100 to 175. So probably an average of 125, 130.
Plus, if the world doesn't go nuts, which it is right now, but like you also, Medicare Advantage doesn't provide trips. Medigap does. I mean, that's how I actually met Brock and a lot of the other leaders in the industry is on all these top producer Medigap trips. So not that
I've met people that have said they turned down those trips because they're like, I don't want to go there. And I'm like, even if it's somewhere that I'm already been or something, and I could stay and work or whatever, I like to go and not take any cash out options because I always learn something. I mean, you meet somebody and you talk to them, and I mean, if they're there, they know something worth knowing.
Yep.
I mean, no matter what marketing strategy they're using, there's so much innovation going on in marketing strategies now. I know people doing some wild, crazy things that are working for them. So let's go on to Kevin.
Sure. I have been in sales all my life, and when I approached 65 and started to learn about Medicare, I thought it was one of the most confusing things I had ever had to learn. But I ran into Chris Westfall's site, and as I learned about it, I thought, hey, this is something I can do. I like teaching. I like public speaking, and here in Ohio, we have a law that prevents us from dialing anyone for any kind of Medicare at all. So I'm kind of hamstrung when it comes to gaining new clients. So I've been using seminars, and they've been somewhat effective, but I would say 30% of the people that come to my seminars aren't retiring. And so
it's like a pipeline.
At some point, I hope to have a flood of new clients as these people start to go into Medicare. But the crazy thing is that as much as I like public speaking, I get on the phone and I choke.
Okay.
Now, once I have a relationship developed with the client, that's easy. But that initial approach, I find really difficult. So I'm looking forward to what I can learn here. I'm looking forward to learning about lead generation, and I just want to perfect what I'm doing.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you two feedback, hopefully. And I know this is a long process, guys, and some of you guys are bored, but maybe like things like I just gave Robin and maybe something I'll say to Kevin will help. A couple things. One, the phone, that's just confidence in your pitch. I think, once we get you where you're confident that if someone spends 20 minutes with you on the phone, they're going to be able to make an educated choice. I think that will help you from that. And the other thing, as far as hand tides with Ohio and the phones, that's only cold calling. If you generate Facebook leads or leads off your website, the handcuffs are off because they're opting in for you to call them. It's but you're right. Like you're not in Ohio. You can't hire people in the Philippines or something to call in Ohio and then transfer you calls, because you're not allowed to cold call, and there's certain rules in Ohio certain times. But the other thing is if you get good at this on the phone, you don't have to be limited to Ohio. You can pick 3 or 4 other states and you can sell there as well.
Yeah. And I'll just, the psychology of it. Like when I started out, I was doing direct mail routes, going out to people's houses. And, it was working pretty well. Closing ratio is actually higher, but like you guys, that have done that know the time commitment in the driving and just the general fatigue you get in that process can weigh you down. And so when I started developing the Facebook leads and calling them early on, anybody that knows me knows that's kind of where my trajectory took me several years ago, was on the Facebook. And I think the hardest part is when I first started calling them, I would tell myself, nobody's buying anything. This is a bunch of tire kickers that, you think, these are not people. They're just people that are clicking a button and you're getting their info, and it wasn't going anywhere. But once you start closing some, and once you see other people doing it, and once you hear it happening, you realize that there are just some steps you have to take to make it happen. And that confidence that you get in it is the biggest indicator. I know when I was even going door to door, or not door to door, but when I was going to people's houses on leads, in the beginning, you're knocking on the door. And I remember like early on, the feeling you got in your heart, if you will, like these people, are not going to.
Please don't answer. Please don't answer. Please don't answer.
You're just like knocking on the door. You're just kind of like, they're not going to be home. They're definitely not going to answer. And you almost get to the point where it's like, why am I doing this? I'm knocking on this door. I'm picking up this phone and calling. And to me, it's not any different. It's just the people that figured out the door-to-door part saw it work enough that they were confident in their pitch. And the phones are very similar psychologically. Once you know that it works, then you believe enough to where every prospect that picks up, you're like, this one's going to buy, this one's going to buy, this one's going to buy. And they're not all going to buy, but you believe in yourself enough to know that it's possible, so you overcome that barrier. I don't think it's any different than door to door. It's just that many of you have been to people's houses or been in a seminar and seen that work, so you're over the psychological barrier.
Cool. All right, and then I think we have it was nice meeting you, Kevin. I think we have a Bobby as well, other than me in here. Bobby, do you want to go next?
Yeah, that's fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let me see if I can turn on everybody put their camera on, so I'll put mine on. Like I wrote on my
you look like a phone guy.
Truthfully, that's all I know. When I first started in the business, like I posted, I used to travel 1,500 miles a week. I got out of the business, truthfully, for about 3 weeks because I had a gun pulled out of me in Atlanta. And, we travel for our families, work hard for our families. And when that showed up, I just decided it wasn't worth it. And I was approached by a company to help them with something they were trying to develop, which, like I posted, Senior Life here in town, and asked me if I wanted to be a part of that. And I agreed to it because I had a taste of what type of money you could make. I fell in love with the idea that I could make that type of money just driving 1.5 miles from my house. So made all the difference in the world. I've done telesales ever since then, January 2005. and have done it for different companies, but never dealt with the health side. I'm not worried about it. Main thing is I just need to learn it. And I do thank both of you, Rob and Justin, because obviously this is not anything that you guys have to do. Back in the day in the business, everybody kept their own stuff to themselves, and you go your way, I go mine, and see who's successful. There's so many out there that we can help clientele wise that it really doesn't matter. But surrounding yourself with this type of environment and the knowledge that is in this type of environment, it's priceless. So I do appreciate you guys doing that. If I can say anything on the phone, you're 100% right. It's confidence. The thing is being okay with screwing up and being told no. It's going to happen. The quicker we get that out of the way, the more comfortable we get, and then boom, a sale pops up. And
Yeah.
it just becomes a consistent thing to where you start believing, you start seeing. But the main thing is starting. It's like I tell, agents in my call centers, it's telesales. Telephone comes before the sale. You got to get on the telephone to be able to make the sale. And once you're able to do that, it just makes it so much easier. I love the call center idea. Call center can be the best thing in the world and the worst thing in the world. Cancer can develop and take your whole call center away, or positive stuff can develop and take your call center to a higher level. But yeah, I'm excited to learn as much as possible. Never ever sold a health policy, but that would change shortly.
Oh yeah. And what he's referring to, guys, when he says cancer in your call center, I don't know if you got to fire people that are negative. I mean, that's I'm guilty of keeping people too long as they're culture fit and they're trying. But yeah, to your point, if I have somebody that's, I find the biggest characteristic of successful people versus unsuccessful people, I really have boiled it down to this. Successful people or unsuccessful people, when things aren't going the way they want it to go, unsuccessful start with external factors. They're getting better leads, or they're luckier than me, or they're doing this, or they're doing that. It's not my fault, right? To where successful agents and successful people that I've met, it's if something's not going well, they start with themselves internally first. Okay, what can I be doing better? That person's doing really well. What can I be doing that person might? What is that person doing that maybe I'm not doing? And by the way, sometimes it is external factors. Sometimes the leads do suck, but the successful people start with themselves first, in my experience. So yeah, that's a good point. I'm the same way. If I have somebody in my call center that's just negative, I have to just nip that in the bud. I give them one warning, and then I have to let them go. Because
Nobody's ever going to say it's me. They're always going to blame something else, trying to make themselves, feel better. And when somebody's struggling, they're not going to go to somebody else that's struggling too. They're usually going to go to the people that, are doing really good, to try to make themselves feel better, but then it becomes a cancer. And I've made those mistakes in the past. I don't allow that obviously anymore. The good thing about telesales is you can always go back and view yourself from what I call outside of the box, because when you're in a house, you can't record yourself. The way I always explain it is like people that think they're great singers, but then you hear yourself sing, you're like, dang, I'm not that good. It's the same thing in doing a presentation. Whenever you're able to go back and listen to your presentation, sometimes you think you hit everything, but when you go back and listen, you realize that there's so much more that you can do and get better at.
I know what Brock's about to say, but
no, I'm not gonna say anything about
Magic Stick karaoke that is on video of us in
Justin,
Texas.
you don't sing, do you?
We did a karaoke thing in Texas, and we sang Magic Stick by 50 Cent and Little Kim. I'll let you guys figure out which one was Little Kim and which one was 50 Cent.
But no, I was thinking though, I have recorded myself, and I have gone to I've gone to phone training with some people. I won't name drop them, but like where they had their call center do phone training, and I partook in that training, and easily realized I'm not as hot shit as I thought I was, and I think we can all do better. One thing that I think that I attribute some of my success to right now, there's many factors in anybody being successful, but one of the things was anytime I would see somebody else doing something, my initial thought is, well, if they can do it, I can do it, because I'm kind of a cocky asshole. But So that helped me, instead of looking at those external factors like he's talking about. And that equates to sales. Also, what helped was in high school, I got told no a lot. So I got used to that. So, now it doesn't bother me.
I tell them to go stand in line. There's a long line.
Yep. So I think we have like 5 more people, and then we'll get into the CPA, and then we'll break for today, and then we'll meet again Wednesday, and I'll do the video of educational stuff. But this is actually, I'm taking notes of what everybody's background is so that I can maybe, reach out to you guys individually and stuff like that. So, with stuff that might help. But let's see, does Nolan want to go? And then we'll do Taylor.
All right. Hello. What's going on, guys? So yeah, my name's Nolan. I'm new to the industry. It's only been, since October, so about 6 months. So brand new. Excited. It's really a blessing. Because I'm getting into insurance, and I see so many other agents from life and from other aspects of insurance. When they say they get the Medicare, they're like, "Man, I've been missing out on that." And so I'm just lucky to get out on the, with the, on the right step. So along those lines, I'm just doing everything I can to continue to keep moving forward. Getting started correctly. I know failure is part of the job, but I just want to minimize that as much as possible.
Yep.
So that's why I'm here. And let's see what else. I got a few things. Yeah, I want to do some cross-selling. And I just don't know which carriers are good. I want to be offering the best products. I know there's about 100 of each and every type of product. So I just want to have 1 or 2 of what's good. And with the Corona, it's cut my business in half this month. So I was starting to build some momentum. And I'm one of those guys, I call people, I set appointments, and I go to their home. I'm very comfortable with that method. But I'm not comfortable with calling them and closing on the phone. So I gotta get adjusted with that. And
so one thing, if you're already calling them and setting the appointment, so if you already have people in the pipeline to do that, I would, and this is what we've been doing, because we have a lot of people that we get to come to our office, right? So we've cut that conversation in half to say many of the carriers that we work with don't want us meeting face to face. But the good news is they all allow us to help you over the phone. And then that just kind of segues into getting it away from, because we were in those shoes where we're setting the appointment for later. Mm-hmm. And I guess, like that's psychological too, but you're setting appointments. Yep. You already got them. Like, let's get it done. So anyway, I think you could easily make that segue, and it's kind of nice to be able to blame it on some big company like Aetna. Aetna doesn't want me to come see you. I'm sorry. I wanted to come to your house, but they want me to sell you something right now. So get out your checkbook.
Yep. Absolutely. No, I agree. And I also made a note on the page. I'm an MAPD guy. They're strong here in Vegas. The plans are very good.
Yes, they are.
But I do need to get better with supplements, and also because MAPDs, you got to send out the scope, and by the time the one lady touched on it, by the time you're sending an email and all that hassle, it really doesn't help. So I got to do the e-signatures and supplements, and got to get better.
Listen, Medigap is just, the ease of enrollment is so easy now. I mean, most carriers, if you're doing a bank draft, it's an IVR system that you don't even have to. Back when I first started, I worked with Mutual of Omaha's very first e-app, and it was awful. You'd have to send the email. Mind you, this is 12 years ago, whatever. Send the email, wait. They'd have to open the outline of coverage, close it. Open the guide to Medicare, close it. All these PDFs. I would have seniors with 15 windows open, and they're just trying to find and then as it's evolved, it went to now they just had to check a box saying they open those things and close it. And so now it's what I try to do the most of is just the straight IVR. I'm like, okay, hold on. I'll press all the buttons. You say your name a couple times and we're done. And it's just like, I tell these, I sound like an old man. Like, I went to school uphill both ways in the snow when I talk about the old e-apps. I'm like, man, you guys, they're like, oh, this person won't sign it. I can't get through the app. I'm like, you have no idea. I'm not exaggerating. I have spent 2 hours before back in the day just getting them to sign the app. To where like, it's just like, and I worked at a big company, so I was limited on what I could do to help them. But I was just like waiting. I would literally be playing Temple Run on my phone like while they're trying to do it. It was just awful. So it's way easier. And you guys are going to accuse me, you MA guys, you guys are probably going to accuse me of being a Medigap guy. I do my best not to be, but they are much easier and way easier to support. The persistency on Medigap is easier to manage.
And the phone signature is oftentimes, what is your mother's maiden name? Or nothing at all. I mean, Cigna doesn't even really have a signature. It's just like, here you go.
Yep.
So it's, yeah. And you can also, easily target some hotspot areas too, outside of your area. But we'll keep it moving. But Bob, I mean, y'all sell all over. You sell MedSups in Vegas?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we sell everywhere. Vegas has Aetna, I believe, has good advantage plans there. I think United Healthcare, I forget.
Man, those three are the main ones.
Yeah, and so we do sell those there. But again, yeah, we market there, and we're still 85, 90% Medigap, and it's definitely our pitch. Which I'm going to post an abbreviated version of that here in a few minutes, just so you guys can look at it before Wednesday, and then I have more of a detailed one. But it's a T chart, and I'll post it just so you guys have it. But yeah, you guys are. You'll learn Medigap, and you guys will be able to take what I do and either do it or implement with what you guys are already doing. Because I'm not anti-Advantage Plan. I'm really not.
All right, Taylor.
Can you guys hear me pretty well?
Yes.
Okay.
You look like a super professional, like you're about to shoot a Oval Office address. So good.
Yeah, I may have overdone it. We need why I've got this set up here. Mitch actually invited me, Mitch Hudson. So any kind of referral shout out goes to him. He and I have known each other for a few years now. I started out selling final expense in 2012. Stumbled along the way, almost gave up a couple times. Same story as everybody else who stuck with it. Brokerage firms a couple times. Now I've got 5 agents. We sell 100% face-to-face right now. 50-50 MedSup, Medicare Advantage Plan, maybe 45-55. But really, I think what we're trying to find out here, we're decent at cross-selling in person. I have no idea how we're going to do that over the phone. I'm a firm believer that when it comes to things like this, we've all essentially been propelled into the 21st century basically overnight. Like if you came from the face-to-face selling world with all this bullshit that's going on, it's like, well, you've got a professional setup, Taylor. That's because I'm running around buying equipment. Like, I don't know what the hell we need, but I know that it's going to be pretty tough to go see people face to face. So, I mean, I'm here probably just like the majority of everybody else, which is just, I think it's better to collaborate with successful peers and other people. There's no sense in reinventing the wheel. You guys have got some knowledge. You've got expertise in this field. Let's work together. Let's figure this out. I'm here to learn. That's it. I know we can do it. But yeah, so that's where we come from. And I want to work on Facebook lead generation.
I'm going to work on my cross-selling pitch to try to put out as soon as possible too. That is way different than what I teach in person. So we have an in-person bundling course that we've put out before where we actually average 4 products per turning 65 person. But, over the phone, it is more difficult. And so and it's always an evolving science for us as far as, what is working the best. And as things evolve, we're always going to try to update you what we're doing. But there is a pitch that we have right now that's working really well for us. And I'm going to get that out to you guys soon.
Awesome. And I see, like I said, we sell, it's almost cut right down the middle with MedSups compared to MAPDs where I'm at. I almost see, and we'll see how this goes, but I think it'll be easier to sell Medicare supplement plans over the phone for a couple different reasons. We'll find out.
Okay, cool. Who is next on here? We did Jerry. Did Jerry go? Jerry didn't.
Yeah, man.
What's up, Jerry? Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, let's see. I started off with being an International Guard. Nah, I was about 16 years in the business, grocery business, and then recession came. I went into the beer business because it was either alcohol, prostitution, or gambling. So then I realized once I got operation manager, there was all old people at the top. I was top 3%, and there was nobody that old in that business. So a buddy of mine used to be our safety guy, said, "You ever thought about insurance?" Well, I worked for him 3 years after he started embezzling. And then me and my wife opened up our own agency. He was hiding behind the Bible. But like I said, other than that, we've been open. We're getting ready to celebrate October. It'll be 10 years, PNC agency. I got into with Obamacare, got into that, started meddling. Always did life insurance. I sell a lot of Ohio National overfunding life insurance to my business owners. At one time, we had probably 95% business, and then we went and purchased an agency, so we're probably about 70-30 by now. We closed we stopped taking cash 4 weeks ago, so we wanted to do it anyway because, you know, people walking in, that's the nastiest thing you can touch right now. So it was a good time to throw that out. And
especially if it's from prostitution.
Well, no. Hey, we did public auto. You deal with a lot of taxis, so you can imagine what's riding around. Okay, so I'm trying to. Well, we did shut our office down last Monday to the public. We're still here. Our cases in South Carolina are real, you know, according to the norm. It's not as bad. They're talking about not locking us down for the 14 days. We don't know yet. But we are set to be remote. Each girl will just take their computer home with them. And but I took some notes last time when y'all were talking about the phone systems, because I've been on Ring Central for like 9 years. And, you know, you listen to their phone calls. It gets we have the recording option. So, but as far as in the office, there's 7 ladies and me. And then outside of the office, as far as I have 2 1099s that do commercial, and then getting into the Medicare, I have 4 downline agents, and then I have 1 LOA for me. So she's in the office, takes care of booking. I went into different courses, spent some money. I think that's where me and Brian met. And went to different courses with that. Then I joined another course, which basically shows you a little bit all of it. So I think I'm a little weak in the YouTube, getting out there. And Robert, I do see every time when you come up, I do follow you, and I see you like I see you up in Raleigh, and I'm like, bam, yeah, he's up there doing that. But you know, Facebook, I've been very successful in Facebook. Kind of like everybody else, with Kevin with the seminars. I had 73 people for a seminar, and I had to cancel all 3 of them. So due to this outbreak, but actually I sent them all a text, an email, and 65% wanted to do a webinar. So I'm constructing a webinar to do a PowerPoint, and some of them are like I said, they're almost a year out, because Facebook, if you don't put a year on there, everybody, I got people with February, March dates next year, and they're willing to give their information to you. And I'm just slow dripping those people, trying to keep on their mind. I use a system called Go High Level. If anybody wanted to look that up, basically it shows you, it puts a lot of stuff together. And that way you don't have to buy everything. You got everything in one location. But other than that, to get out of this is phone skits. And an example of kind of like, Robert, the way you did your presentation on the Part B and the small words that you said, I think that was positive, because I wouldn't have said, you know, the words that you said exactly, and it would have came across different. So, and Justin, how can we go wrong with not doing the way you do it, man? Because South Carolina is just like Mississippi, okay?
That's true. First and second to secede, right? That's inappropriate, I guess.
Everything, and look forward to learning, man.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, the webinars is something because we were actually just getting into seminars. We'd done like 6 of them. We're doing monthly ones. And the last one we did, we had like 25 people register for. And normally we'd have a pretty high show up rate. And they ended up, I think there ended up being 3 there. So, even the media is making people not get out. And of course that was a few weeks ago. Well, it was 2.5 weeks ago. But now, I imagine it's really bad. People aren't even registering for them. So we're doing webinars, and I think that's a huge opportunity there. Where at some point I'll share what we're going through with webinars, and I may talk to you about it, Jerry, and see.
Yeah, because like I said, as far we were doing the Brian Askins, that course.
Yeah.
Except we didn't do the mailers, which I've seen a lot of people losing money on mailers.
Yeah.
We actually just use Facebook only.
Yeah, that's what we've always used. I did webinars. I don't know why I quit. I was having a lot of success with it back in 2016, but then I started having a lot of success with lead ads, and I kind of went all into lead ads. And anyway, we'll talk about that stuff later. But good, Jerry. I know me and you, communicated before.
But yeah, the funnel hacking though, as far as the library. Hey, Robert, that is awesome you share that with them, because y'all can see exactly what these people are putting on there, especially in your area. So you can combat against it. So
yeah, no, it's exactly. See what, again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Same thing with Google. Bing, you can, the advertisements are all transparent. So, well, Connie, you're next, but I just want to touch base on something Jerry said. Jerry said he's getting a lot of 64-year-olds on Facebook. So for those of you that have not marketed on Facebook, what sucks about Facebook is you can market you can do every age starting like at 18. Like you could be very age specific, except when you get to 64, and then it's 65 plus. So when you do Facebook advertising, you have to make a choice, and you could split test and see what works for you. If it was me and I was you guys smaller, I would market to 64-year-olds. My agents internally are spoiled as great guys and girls. They're great, but they're spoiled. So when they see someone that's aging in, but it's 9 months away, they just click. Like they won't even really call it unless we monitor it, but people are people. So we typically tend to market 65 plus, which we get a lot of people that are over 80 and stuff like that. So there's no perfect thing, but that's what he was talking about on Medicare. Now you can do, which I'm sure Jerry, how is you can do 64 and then target birth months or graduation classes. And there's things you can do to get creative to try to get that. But yeah, that's what he was talking about. You're going to get a lot of 64-year-olds, but for you guys, that's not bad necessarily, because you can cultivate that lead, I think is the word I was looking for.
And we'll talk, when we talk about health insurance too, I highly encourage at least a little bit, especially for you guys at inception level, be able to close a little bit of that. And all of a sudden some of you have already done that, but you grab a little bit of revenue from that on the early ones. There's a lot of people in that 62 to 65-year-old mark right now that are kind of getting forced into early retirement because they're the people in the workforce that are the most susceptible. Maybe they were already going to retire. This has made them retire early. They don't have Medicare yet. A lot of these states will do 3-year short-term medicals and things like that. So there's some opportunity there, and I will talk about that. And that's going to be all, so much stuff to go over. Yeah. We want to go over the things that are going to impact you the most early on, and then add in things that make it easier and more profitable too. So,
all right, Connie,
it
is your turn. Castleberry.
I think we got to unmute you, Connie. Let me see.
I got it.
Can you do it?
We're both doing it. We're all doing it now.
All right, you do it.
All right, we're good. You're good now.
Hi, I'm Connie, and I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I have been in this business only going on my 4th year.
Okay.
I started with mortgage protection, but then went into final expense, and I love the final expense market and that age group, which is why I went last summer and got my Medicare license. So I'm doing all of that, and have never done telesales, have wanted to, but just, I enjoy face-to-face. What I'd like to learn how to do is to come across on the phone as closely as I am in person. You know, I don't have a problem building rapport very quickly. Everybody wants to be my Facebook friend by the time I leave there. But I'd like to build, you know, something similar to that.
Okay.
And I just need to learn from the best. So y'all are it. Here I is.
High expectations. No, it's going to be great though.
It is. I'm looking forward to it.
Good. All right, Josh, where are you at, bud? You've been sitting up there with a nice button-down shirt, and you're like, yeah, you're ready.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me on the call here. I'm looking forward to learning from you guys. My quick backstory is my dad owns an agency here in Idaho. I bet I'm from the smallest town. I have 900 people in the town I'm sitting in right now. No big cities around. Got to drive 4 hours to get to 100,000 people. Really, our bread and butter has been the under age 65 health insurance. We are the 4th largest in the state for that, largely built around my dad's reputation. We do 0 advertising. It's all been word of mouth, period. So there's a whole new ballgame for me. I'm trying to carve this space out. I joined 4 years ago when I was 19 years old. I got into group health insurance to try to kind of get my own little niche going, and that worked very well. But what I figured out is I don't have enough prospects. There's not enough businesses with 50 employees or more in my area. I just run out, and it's very demotivating to not have the next step, right? So I rewrote one of my dad's books that was aging. We don't get paid anymore on the med sup after 6 years, as you know. Rewrote, had 75 of them in 1 month. I thought, well, if I could get enough people in front of me, I just got to sit through them and make it happen. So I'm on a quest now to try to figure out this phone sales thing, get ramped up on that. I just need a system, and I'd like to build that out to, you know, eventually that call center style model that you already have. Justin, I can relate with your situation a lot with just some of the stuff that you talk about and the types of clients that you go through. So I'm very excited to learn that system.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a barrel. Now we have to teach you to shoot the fish that are in the barrel. No, I mean,
let's do it.
I have, you know, I'm a 2nd generation guy too. My dad was a decently successful med sup agent when I came into it. Of course, he kind of like, he sent me out on that, you know, direct mail path, and I decided that I liked the industry, but I was going to create my own path. So same thing with you with the group health side. But yeah, this would be, you know, a good fit, and it sounds like you would be really good on the phone too. So
yeah, and you're young.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're going to be able to build a nice book of business, and you'll be an old man like me one day, and you really don't have to work, but you just kind of want to. So all right, cool.
That's the plan.
Yeah, great. No, we're going to help you with that, man. And then I hope I pronounced this right. Myra?
Yes, it's Myra.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yay. So anyway, my name is Myra Luna, and I'm here in Texas, in Houston, Sugarland area, born and raised in Houston. Our bread and butter right now is ACA. We started doing ACA October of 2013. It took us 3 hours to do one application. But a lot of that ACA stuff was done face-to-face. Progressively, obviously, with the volume, it did progress to over the phone. But I just felt that a lot of that was, you know, mouth referrals, just warm referrals type of thing. We really did no marketing, none whatsoever, to build up our book of ACA and also to help all our agents. You know, we were having success. A lot of agents were not having success selling the life insurance and the other things, and so they gravitated to us to help them understand ACA so that they could build some type of, you know, people to talk to sell the other stuff. Before I did ACA, I did Medicare. I was captive. I was a captive agent for 3 years doing Medicare. So I built up my book of business doing that. Then gravitated to ACA. obviously I was no longer captive. We were slowly building up the agency to do Medicare as well, along with the ACA. They're both kind of, coincide together. Under 65 transfers to Medicare. We get a lot of that. But most of our business is face-to-face. We don't really do a lot of marketing. I'm trying to grasp this whole social media thing, this whole Facebook advertising thing. I'm still trying to figure all of that out and see exactly how to put those components together. Because again, we do little to no advertising, little to no marketing. Everything's just basically off of referral. And at the same time, I know that there's a niche out there for people to do things over the phone. And we do ACA over the phone, but like I said, I don't know. I think it's just different than a Medicare client and an ACA client. I don't think it's the same type of a spiel, especially when we first started, when it was mandated to get ACA, and it was very easy to do a sale. It was just, you're here and there it goes. And so with Medicare, obviously, it's a much longer conversation.
I'll help. Yeah. If you have phone experience, you sold over the phone more than you give yourself credit for. Medicare will get you a presentation. I mean, we do an education. You can do an educational pitch from start to finish over the phone in 25 minutes, and they're signing up and they're done. So it doesn't have to be over explained and stuff like that. So you'll be here in about a week and a half or so, you'll have a process and stuff that will help you be able to articulate that stuff over the phone, and it doesn't have to be forever. Sometimes they are. Sometimes you have situations that are a little bit longer, but we'll help you with get you at least a process that will help with that.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, we obviously have a very good process in line for ACA, and that's how we train all of our agents to do. And so it's been very successful in that regard. But at the same time, I know ACA is not going to be around forever, but I think Medicare will be. Hopefully. And so we want to be able to, obviously now with the whole face-to-face that type of thing, we need to learn the whole phone skill type thing, and generating the leads, because like I said, no marketing, no advertising. It's just kind of like, let's see what comes in from the ACA book of business and from people who just know that's what we do.
Nice. All right. And then I think we have the last person, I think, right, is Jarek, unless I missed somebody. Did Nolan go, or did I miss you, Nolan? You went, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Nolan did. It's Garrett.
Garrett, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Good, all good. How are you doing?
Good.
All right. So I guess really just like in line with everybody else doing, I need to accomplish a whole lot. So I've been in the business for 3 years now. Got started in the mortgage protection, and then converted over to final expense about 2 years ago and some change, and just really haven't converted back to anything else other than final expense. So all field sales all the way. So I'm definitely excited about converting over just like everybody else. I was already planning. The good thing about my circumstances, I was already kind of planning moving to the phones. So I started getting my non-residential licenses and everything in order before all this kind of occurred. So, but I did the AEP last year, the end of last year, only 25, I think total probably 30 apps altogether. Not a whole lot, but enough to get started. So that number needs to look like a whole lot more this year. So down the road, it definitely looks like a call center type of business, but also a brick and mortar as well. To be able to have both the call center and also the field production for Medicare and MedSups as well.
Cool. All right. So I think that's everybody. Right? Okay. So we went over a little bit on the hour. So sorry guys, thanks for your patience, but this is going to help us. And so tell me I think what I'm getting from everybody is we want a process to present and sell Medicare over the phone. So phone pitches, which is what we can provide you guys. It's what Brock and I use for our agents, and we can help you guys with that. A lot of you guys mentioned marketing. Okay, you guys want to learn how to Facebook market or other stuff like that. Part of the phone process is we're going to want to go over the carrier e-apps. Every carrier has their own e-app. Okay, so there's going to be some e-app training. So stuff like e-app training, what I'll probably do, Brock or I will make a video, and then we'll post it onto the page, and then you guys can kind of watch that, when you need to. And if you guys have questions, you can reach out. The e-apps is just kind of, we'll show you how to do it. We'll go through it. And a lot of the carriers have their own e-app training, but I definitely recommend practicing those before you get on the phone. Like, you don't want your first Mutual of Omaha e-app to be the first one while you're talking to somebody. You want to maybe run through some of them. So we'll maybe make a video, Brock, on those for them. The phone pitch, I posted something. Try not to be underwhelmed with it, but I posted under files, the new to Medicare. It's just kind of a T-chart, very simple presentation. I'm going to make a video. I'll offer to do a webinar with that as well. So if anybody wants to come, I'll post the time on it tomorrow, but I'll do the video Wednesday. I'll do it as a webinar. Don't feel obligated to come, but it's going to be my educational pitch. And I'll just kind of, like as if I was training one of my agents face to face, I'll kind of walk you guys through how I do an educational pitch. You're welcome to join, and then you can add questions after, or I can post the video. You can watch it and leave a comment as a question, and then we can jump on a call or go over and answer it that way. I was going to do the CPA thing today, but I think all of us are going to have a little bit of fatigue right now after just all the intros. So we can pick up there on Friday, unless you guys are okay with, I can do my CPA thing like in 5 minutes if you guys don't mind. Is that okay? Okay, just so there's something you guys walk away with other than meeting a bunch of really cool people. All right. So when I say CPA, I'm not talking about my accountant. Okay, what I'm talking about, and so this is how you're going to want to come up with a marketing budget. For example, a couple of you guys mentioned that you guys get all referrals. That's fantastic. Referrals and free spouses and clients that have no acquisition costs are awesome. But for you to scale a business, right, we're going to eventually have to market and spend some money. So I used to hate it, and I hated it when I first opened, and a direct mail company would come to me, or one of our local people that would want to put my ad in like a jigsaw puzzle thing. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that's at your dentist's office or whatever. And they would say, well, what's your budget? How much do you want to put into it? I'm like, holy shit, I don't know. Does it work? Like, I'll spend $100,000 with you if you can tell me I'm going to get this amount of clients, but I don't want to spend $1 with you if it's not going to get me anybody, right? So here's how I, in my simplistic way, have determined how to do that. So, and I'm going to write why I do it, but you guys won't see it. It's just how I process things. So what I do is there's a cost per acquisition, which I call CPA. And in order to develop, there's two parts to my cost per acquisition. There's the first part is what I call my ad spend, or I call my lead CPA, or media CPA, or I call it media CPA or lead CPA. It depends on if it's Monday or Tuesday, what I call it in my head. And then your other side of your CPA is going to be all of your fixed costs. So if you're one person out of your house, then you really don't have a whole lot of fixed costs, whatever it's costing you if you have a phone system or a CRM, whatever that is. If you're Jerry and you have an office and an agency and stuff, then you're going to put your fixed cost, your rent, your phone bill, your power bill, stuff like that. Those are going to be your fixed costs. Now, what I'm talking about right now is how do you come up with overall target CPA, and how do you come up with how much of that should be marketing? Well, in order to do that, you have to assign what's called a lifetime value to a policy. So, and then you have to work backwards. So for me, I value a Medicare product, whether it's a supplement or Advantage plan. I've always used $1,200. Okay. Now, if you do final expense, maybe you have a different amount or whatever that is. But for Medicare products, I always use about $1,200. So my target CPA also will change throughout the time of the year. Right now, we're in January through September. I'm willing to spend, believe it or not, $900 to get a customer. Okay. When I first started out, that used to be $600. So do you see why, if you guys are buying leads, it's going to be tough to outbid me, right? Because and people that are bigger than me, Health Plan One, Transact, these guys, they're willing to spend $1,200 outside of a AEP to get a customer. Okay. But let's say I'm targeting $800 out of annual enrollment. So for me, my lead CPA target of that is 500, because I know that if I average the 450 to 500 sales I do a month, my fixed costs are going to be around 300. Now you guys can do however you guys, you can do. If you're, Josh, you're looking at getting in this, you're on your own, right? You're probably, so if you're looking at, what is my target? You might want to target $300 CPA all in, right? Because you shouldn't have a ton of bills to get involved in this. If you're dialing out of your house, I'm not sure if you guys have an office or not, but if for this, so your acquisition target should be 300. Now, maybe your media part of that is 250 or 200. Maybe you're going to pay yourself $100, and then your media CPA is 200. And the way you calculate that is however much you spend. So your total CPA is calculated by your total spend divided by how many sales you got. So and then your marketing spend, or your lead CPA, is your anything you spent to advertise, your ad spend, divided by your sales. Okay. For some of you guys, this is probably, I don't know if this is super easy, not helpful, but it took me like 3 years to be able to articulate this in my head. So maybe it helps. So, if you're targeting a $200 media CPA and you want to try Facebook advertising, then say you're going to spend 75, let's say you're going to spend, just keep it easy, 5,000 your first month. Okay. Let me get a calculator because I'm not this smart, but so 5,000. So let me get if we're targeting, what's 5,000 divided by 200? Anybody? Is that? So that's, did I do that right?
25.
25 sales, right? So if you're saying I want to spend 5,000 on Facebook and I want to get 25 sales, that's a lead CPA of $200. That would be a successful campaign for you if that's your target. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And all of you are going to have different fixed costs. Now, here's the trick when you get to our size, which, the more sales you do, the more it weights down your fixed cost CPA. So, I might be able to target a $600 lead CPA for a month and weigh my fixed costs down to 200. Because if I do more sales, so let's say my fixed costs are 250,000 a month. So not ad spend, but just my fixed costs. If I do more sales, right, I'm going to benefit from the economies of scale, and I'm going to weigh down that fixed cost part of my CPA. So a constant thing I'm always trying to do, and I'm doing more production, which is growing the business, right? So I will sometimes target a higher lead CPA, and as long as I'm monitoring that and we're getting more sales, I know I can stomach that, because when it's all said and done, I'm going to weigh down my fixed cost CPA.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone have a, Brock, I don't know if that came across.
Yeah, I understand it. I know that there might be some that don't. Grace, go ahead and go. No, look, I got 17 people here watching me. School's out for everybody. All right.
Hi, Grace. Hi, sweetie.
So yeah, I get what you're saying, Bob. You're, because we use that to some degree, and then a lot of guys that are doing local and not doing it aren't as focused on the numbers, because in some ways you get so many referrals and it becomes green. And when we use like really high budgets like that, I don't want it to throw anybody up, because at any scale you can use the same concept to know. It's basically about knowing what can I spend to acquire a client and still be profitable. And then, so you also have to know as an individual, what do I need now to keep my lights on? And if you're in your house and this is your full-time job, then your fixed cost CPA might be, what do I have to pay myself to feed my family as well? So it's a different type of economics. When you get to the point where you're running a business with a bunch of employees, your fixed cost CPA might be your office and your printer toner and your internet systems and all that kind of stuff. And when you're starting out, it might be my cell phone bill, my utilities, and my rent, or whatever it is. It's all different levels.
Yeah, but
and
I
the
would. I'm
cost
sorry to interrupt you, but I would.
and less.
Sorry to interrupt you, Rock, but and even the local guys. So here's why you need to know what your marketing CPA is. You're gonna want to try different marketing avenues. You're gonna try direct mail. You're gonna try Facebook. You're gonna try Filipino telemarketers if that's something that interests you. Like, so even if you've been in this business a little while, I would challenge you, even like an exercise, if you guys aren't already doing this, look at what you've done the last 12 months and look at and try to pull out different marketing campaigns that you did and track where those sales came from. And now, because you got to know where to put your money, like, did direct mail work? Great. And Facebook sucked. Okay. Take more money from Facebook and put it in the direct mail. Did seminars work? If seminars worked, fabulous. Spend less on direct mail and put in. So for me, I'm all digital, right? So I look at it as I have a media CPA spreadsheet that breaks down Google, Bing, and Facebook. So every couple of weeks, I'm analyzing that, and I'm taking money away from Facebook and putting it in Google, or taking money from Bing and putting it onto Bing or Facebook, or whatever that is, whatever is performing. So if you're not tracking where your sales are coming from, you're definitely going to want to do that, because otherwise you might think seminars are working, and then we try it doing a Facebook campaign with you for $2,000. And then you may not get the outcome you thought you're going to get. And you might have think it sucked. But then if you actually knew your numbers off of seminars or direct mail, well, maybe I should scale Facebook, if that makes sense. So yeah. I think it's good to know where your sales come from, because you're going to want to scale whatever marketing, because what works for me is different than what might work for Brock. So I might want to scale what's working for me. That's why I like to know. And I like what you said. If your fixed cost CPA, if this is you out of your house or you single, it might just be, what do you have to pay yourself to continue doing this? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Until you get your renew. And then remember, this is with Medicare or health insurance, you're in a residual game. So, we base the people who can go the longest without paying themselves out of today's sale can spend the most to acquire a client. And when you're starting out, you can't do that. So there are differences, where you do have to pay yourself, but also stretch it, because even if you're not to that point where you're like, I don't have to take money for 2 years on this sale, and I want the back end residual, no matter where you're at in that chain, you want to stretch how much you would pay. It's just like anytime you're doing anything, you want to stretch that budget a little bit further. So when you think I'm comfortable with this much, maybe see if you can be comfortable with just a little bit more, because if you can afford to spend a little more on acquiring a client, then you can scale faster and acquire more clients. And then 2 years down the road or a year down the road, your residual is way bigger than it would have been.
I saw Brian's little girl and the dog. I thought that was cute. My kids are locked away over there somewhere, but all right. So again, this is not something that Brock and I have this huge mapped out business plan for, but the takeaway from today is we met everybody. That's how I manage my CPA. You guys can maybe take one or two things from that and either implement it or not, but I would recommend tracking where your sales come from when you do spend money on marketing, because otherwise you really don't know what works. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean, I might have a Google lead that's $60 that's converting at 20%, and I might have a Facebook lead that's $24, and I might say, oh, I want more $24 leads. But if that's converting at 5% compared to a 20% $60 lead, really what's better? The $60 Google lead, right? Because whatever that math is. So I would encourage you, if you haven't, as we're developing and you guys are getting into this, whatever money you're going to spend on marketing, you want to be able to track where those sales are coming from so that you can pull those different levers as you try different things. So intros today, went over the CPA. I hope that was helpful. I've never really articulated it before out loud, but that's how I do it. And then Wednesday, I'm going to post my educational pitch, which I think a lot of you guys will benefit from. I posted a summary of it on the download, so take a look at that. Don't be underwhelmed. A lot of it is going to be, you guys will hear me how I present it, and that will just be more like of a sheet you would print. It's more of a call flow. you would print that sheet, have it in front of you, and kind of like pace yourself. And those are like the hot topics. And I'll show you guys that on Wednesday. And then Friday, I think we're going to have a group call again, right, Justin?
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to talk about the Medigap to Medigap pitch together. I kind of wanted to do that together. I've been paid a lot of money for that pitch by other big people. So I think you don't have to come if you don't want to come, but we'll record it and post it. But I think you guys will benefit being in there.
Yeah. And then I will probably Monday, we'll map out next week as well. But at some point in there, I'm going to talk cross-selling, because I think we've been really good at that. So there's a lot of good things coming. And also I told everybody, several people that asked me when they were joining, we want the group to grow in the direction of the needs of the people that are in it. So anything that you want to know, you can post it in the Medicare Monsters group. That's where we're going to try to communicate with people when we're not on video like this. So post anything you need in there, and we can, talk about it. So, all right,
Can I ask a quick question real quick?
Yeah, pleplease go ahead. Yeah, we'll open it up.
So, as I'm trying to figure out my own CPA, like 82.7% of our business in my downlines business came from seminars this past year. I sent out 650 invitations. I know that on average, 12 people are going to show up, and 8 out of those 12 would buy from our educational seminars.
Okay.
And it would usually cost me $250 to $325 to mail out. I've never done any internet advertising or Facebook advertising. We started to as a company, and I hadn't done any of that, so I don't know what kind of dollars to put in. Because for me, myself, I live in a town of 450 people, county seat of 12,000. I get most leads from the local senior center because I act as a ship counselor in there during the fall. So I have a lot of great, referral sources back to me. But how do I come up with a budget, or how do I come up with a plan to know what is the proper amount of money to spend?
Have you been happy with your return on the seminars? Like, are you being able to pay yourself and you're happy with the money you're making there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's use that as a starting point. So what was your spend on the seminars last year, if you had to guess?
Let's see, we were doing for 8 a month, 300, 2,400, probably about 17 to 22,000.
Okay, so say you spent 20 grand. And how many sales did you get off those? And how many sales do you think you came off those seminars?
Probably about 600 to 700. 700
sales off 20 grand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're a fucking rock star, dude. Like, yeah, no, that's awesome.
I mean, we we're hosting them at medical centers. And
no, I wasn't being sarcastic. I mean, no, that's phenomenal. Like, I mean, so you got 600 sales off 20 grand. So here's how you would calculate that CPA, which is awesome.
20,000 $30 CPA.
Yeah, your all-in CPA was $34 if I round up. So
Matt, ask a follow-up question. When you say 700 sales, did they all come from that, or some of those come from referrals from people that were at that, or did you know what I mean? Like, was that like total sales, or was
those were rough estimates of 8, and we were hosting 6 a month.
Okay.
48 times 12.
So yeah. So and honestly, one of the things you should do if you're already used to doing that is digitally go on and do webinars. You can get a lot of people in a webinar room. The closing ratio will be higher or lower digitally, because people can come and watch and leave, and they don't have to walk out and not say bye to you. But you can get a lot more people in the room as well, because you don't have to feed them, and they don't have to fit into one little room. You could get 100 in there at a time easily. So I would definitely, as you're approaching digital, since you're already used to that, look at webinars for you. Yeah,
but so to answer your question, I mean, I have, that would be your media spend. That's fantastic. I would continue doing that.
Just inviting them to a digital webinar.
I mean, you're not going to beat $34 doing anything that Brock and I is talking about for an acquisition cost.
No, and you have to do I've done a ton of different things, and some have lower CPAs than others, but some also have less scalability than others. Like what you're doing with seminars, you may be maxing it out pretty much like to its maximum potential, and you may come to the conclusion that that's not the most amount of applications you write. And so one of the things we run into with people who find a good, a good path early that's very profitable, and we don't discourage you from doing that. What's working. Of course, now we got coronavirus going on, but we would encourage you that some things would cost more on the front end to get going. Now, I'm not saying that, you have to be comfortable with a $900 CPA versus 30.
Yeah, no, 150 is something that on a media side is something that you can scale if you're a few people.
Yeah.
150 is a good target as a lead CPA. I think that's what we were when we were, it was me and 4 other people. We were able to do good business at 150 would be a nice starting point for you guys.
And Jerry posted CPL, and I just want to make sure we do know that, and he probably already knows this, but CPL and CPA. So CPA is cost to acquire the client. So, and CPL is cost per lead. You can get a low cost per lead, but still have a high cost to acquire the client. So, there's just differences there. I mean, a CPL of $6.56 on Facebook is good though.
Yeah. So is that what that meant, Jerry? You have 656 CPL on 3 ads on Facebook, and I mean, it sounds like you did optimization where you let Facebook pick the winner.
Yeah, I did 3 ads.
Yeah.
And I let them. So
one ad set.
One was doing 11, and it was different pictures and different formats.
Got you. But same ad set, right? Like you did a campaign.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did educational, and then
Got it.
Dropped it down to 3 different ads with 3 different pictures.
And how much volume?
Plate of food.
Yeah. How much volume did you get at the 656? Do you mind me asking?
It was I tell you what, I had so Facebook showed 7,800 people in the area I did, right? Talking about 64-year-olds. So it was pretty much 5,100 looked at it, and I had like 41,000 that clicked on it. So it was pretty good. I mean,
how many, and what did you drive them? Did you drive them to a web page, or did you do lead ads?
Yeah, I use Go High Level. I drive them to a Go High Level.
And how many leads did you get like out of that?
Oh, 73 RSVP.
So 70. Okay. For a webinar.
Yeah.
Got it. So you're talking about digitally what Brock was talking about, maybe implementing where you can get using that to drive people to, you posted a location with food. I got you.
I got a nice big old sign back here that I was going to have from a webinar with my sandwich board, right? I got a big screen and I got a television over there. But now I'm going to have to do like Brock was talking about, the webinar part. So now I'm just going to, I was seeing how you did yours today when you did the part B, you kind of broke it up. So I'm trying to figure whether to carry, I've been asking different people in the business as far as, with YouTube, whether have a private page and send them that YouTube or do it live every time. That's the thing that I'm kind of battling on.
I've never done webinars yet. The videos I post is like today, but I don't know. I mean, I think I've done Facebook Live.
Send them to a link.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd rather do it live to, let people know you're living.
I would have them. I would have them personally on a Zoom or a GoToMeeting link where it was auto emailing them that link when they registered for the webinar, or use like Webinar Jam, any of those services. And I've done them. I have friends. Danielle does them. They do work well. It gets the audience engaged. And then normally I wouldn't do them like this where we're interactive and we can talk and stuff. I would do them where with one of those webinar services where they're in the chat. So you can actually set up even Zoom to where everyone's muted when they come in and all their videos are off. And Ring
Central actually uses Zoom. I mean, that's probably you can use 100 people. So
yeah. So I mean that would be the way I would do it. And what I would worry more about is once you figure out where you're going to get them, is what is your call to action at the end of the webinar, or at what point in the webinar are you going to try to get them to call you, give you their information? Maybe you could have it where they're already giving you their phone number and things, but ideally the hard part is on a webinar. If you just put the information out there, getting them to call you back or getting them on the phone after that is hard. So I would and I don't know if you're doing this already, but be collecting the phone number and email when they register for
Yeah,
the
see, they did all that. So basically, I sent them an email and a text.
Yeah.
Hey,
See, what I would do is call them now.
Yeah, I would call them before the webinar.
And I say, "What's your birth month?" You know what I mean? And they just tell you what their birthday is. You know.
I would go ahead and call them and and just call them to remind them of when the webinar is and make sure that they know how to use the Zoom or whatever. But the point is, when you get on the call, you're calling them to do that. But then you say, "Are you already on Medicare?" You start asking more questions. You can go ahead and start selling them. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of these people are like February, March of next year.
I would just go ahead and call them, even if you're just, introducing yourself, and then seeing if they had any questions about the meeting. But that way you're getting, and on Facebook too, quick, piece of advice if you want to look at it, you can click people that are 64 years old and then target people with a birthday in, like, say if I was doing it right now and I wanted to be in the next 6 months, you can just say, people who are 64 with a birthday in June, a birthday in July, a birthday in August, a birthday in September. So now you're getting people that are in that turning 65 window that you can already close on a med sale.
I couldn't get the meter at the right amount when I did that way. Okay. So I was like, heck with it.
So it's geography. Well, the thing about webinars too is you could expand your geographic region more, because you're going to be closing over the phone anyway now. At least that's what our goal is.
Yeah. No, I'm in 6 states. I kind of did like he was talking about. I'm
So
ready to get.
if you do that whole 6 states and then you do everybody 64 years old and with a 65th birthday within the next 6 months, based on those birthdays I'm talking about, or those birth months, then you could probably get the meter pretty high still doing that.
Yeah,
I would consider that and get them in. And then, if you're doing YouTube videos too, you can even send
that's what I'm working on.
So as you're doing that, and then you have email drip campaigns or follow-ups sending them instructional or tutorial videos you've done. Well, now these people in other states that you may never sell anything to are then going back and watching your videos and driving your watch time on YouTube. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you're profiting from that lead other than selling them something. Of course, ideally you sell them something too, but there's a lot of parameters here. Like the value of a lead for Robert Bache right now is higher than it is for any of us, because he has the systems built out to do more with that lead. But you're all capable of doing it. You just have to spend the time and the energy learning how to do it and building out all the content. So.
Cool. That's a great question.
I got a quick question about YouTube, because I've just dabbled in. I've made some horrible videos.
Have you seen mine from 8 years ago? I look like I'm 12 and I was wearing a fucking suit.
I guess my question is, because like I didn't know what to do. I just messed around with it, and I've done some stuff on a personal deal, and then I've also made like a separate like business YouTube, whatever you call it, channel. I don't even know what you call it, but what would you do? Like your personal or business?
I'm not certain that there's a appropriate way to do this. I think I have done everything under Justin Brock, for whether it's for my local agency, the national efforts that I've done, or agent training. I've done it all under the same guys. I don't think that there's that big of a difference, regardless, as long as the overall, goal of your channel is Medicare. I wouldn't have one where I wanted to host all my family videos and Medicare together. But as long as you're not trying to do that, I let my wife's channel be something related to that. So anyway, I would just go on and make it, your personal channel. I mean that to me, it's worked better. Like I do a lot of this agent training, and a lot of people are like, oh, you don't want so-and-so to see your agent training videos, and they're trying to turn 65, but it hasn't really been an issue for us.
So I can teach you guys how to rank on YouTube. So like I went incognito because I wanted to show you guys it's not just because I'm logged in as me, but if you type in pretty much any state Medicare supplement quotes, you guys can see my screen, right? I've got some, can you guys hear me or no? Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I can hear you.
All right, sorry. So if you guys do a video, I can help you guys rank it You know, so like if you do pretty much, I don't know, what's another state? I don't know. I think I'm Georgia. Yeah. So like this is, I think it should show up similar in you guys. But you know, now how much business do I get off of this stuff? It's hard to track because I don't spend any money on YouTube. Right here is AARP, and then there's Cantu. Well, he's retired now, but eHealth. So, you know, there's, you know, YouTube for me is more of a branding thing personally. It's just so if someone, like I shared with you guys, my most visited page, I think I shared with you guys, is people go to our agent, meet the team page directly, like they'll Google us and stuff. So, you know, I started off with YouTube as just that. And then also I do email drip campaigns like Brock was talking about. So I find that people over the phone sometimes have a hard time with confidence. And so that's where I kind of created Medicare Bob for, was so that I could hire agents and they could lean on Medicare Bob for confidence. Like, well, Medicare Bob's recommending that Medicare Supplement Plan G is the greatest value or whatever. And then we have an educational email that goes out and some follow-up emails that go out that drive them to watch it. I'm not as good as Chris Westfall, where my understanding is he gets, you know, I mean, I probably do get 100 sales, or maybe not 100, but 50 sales off of that stuff. But, you know, it's, you know, so maybe it's probably worth you guys, you know, someone who's trying to get, you know, 20, 30 sales in a month. YouTube, I haven't spent any money on it, purely just organic stuff.
Yeah, I know some guys, you know, actually using YouTube ads at small levels. Westfall, since he's brought up a couple of times, got into YouTube early, and he replicating what he's done on YouTube. I'll just say this is impossible. So don't go down that rabbit hole. He had a lot of agents looking him up early on, and it helped his rankings on YouTube. And then we had, you know, he had a YouTube boom, and it'd be like replicating the first person to rank on Google for Medicare. I bet you they're not ranking anymore because Danielle Kunkel put them out. So, but you know, the people that work hard and produce the most content are typically going to do well on there. We're starting to rank on YouTube pretty well, but part of that's probably too because agents watch my videos, so my watch time is high.
I don't know if they all know what that means. So here's a benefit that Westfall had, and a benefit that is very good. So I sent you guys a video that I did today. My watch time on that video is going to help YouTube have the algorithm show it to other people. So where Westfall did, and I'm friends with Chris, he's a good dude. But where he's really benefited is he did a lot of agent trainings early on. And so he would send out training videos to the agents. And because agents watched the training videos all the way through, his watch time is really good. And because his watch time is really good, when he does do a consumer video, YouTube shows him in the algorithm. Does that make sense? So, because when I put out I can show you my average watch time on YouTube, but it's like 35 seconds. These people aren't watching the video all the way through. Well, so now what I do we get, every time I release a video, all 35 people in my staff, they are required to click the video and watch it all the way through. And my views, that help my views and stuff. But Chris did a great job. And by the way, we could help each other with that. Everybody, you know, I think we should all, as part of this group, should be help each other. And if you guys have a YouTube video and, you know, I can get me and my 35 staff people to watch it and help your watch time, fantastic. If I can post a video and you guys can just play it in the background, not even watch it, great. You know, Brock and I actually talked about this. We're going to take turns in the videos that we do in training. So he gets some juice from it. He's going to post to his YouTube channel. And so I get some juice. I'm going to post to mine, so that if I send you guys my educational pitch, I'll send you guys to my YouTube channel to watch it, because that will help my watch time. When I do the Medigap to Medigap pitch, we'll probably post it to Brock, so that helps his watch time. And that will, believe it or not, help the algorithm for YouTube to show our videos and stuff like that to customers. So when Brock's saying it's going to be hard to duplicate what Westfall did, it's because he's got just hundreds of hours of just watch time that went all the way through. Does that make sense?
And he had it even started at a time where there wasn't even really as much competition. So it was like, he had like the perfect storm of gaming algorithm. There's some other guys that are just using the YouTube ads and doing well at it. So I don't use them either, but I'm not opposed to it. I've considered trying.
You can actually click those 3 dots on the side and look at his keywords. You know, you can.
Well, it's gotten so far past that keywords. I mean, I've gone down the YouTube rabbit hole. I've spent $20,000 taking YouTube courses, And there's nothing that beats watch time with YouTube. There's not a trick, because if there was, like, we'd all be tricking each other all the time on there, because so many people have already tried it, because there is so much money to be made on YouTube in a million different ways. But it's really competitive, and it's watch time. Like Cody Askins does really well on YouTube. Most of that's because he just puts out so many videos, and agents watch videos because as a species, we're all looking for the next edge on how to be better at what we're doing. Whereas, Medicare beneficiaries might just want the quick answer to their question. So they might be looking, and it's boring, and it might confuse them more than it does us. It's harder to game it on consumers than it is on agents. But then your stuff's showing up to a lot of agents too. So you have to think that a lot of those views you see on certain people's videos is a lot of agents. Also, some of them are paying for the views because they're running paid ads. So if you see somebody with 50,000 views on a video about Medicare, the parts of Medicare, they may have ran an ad and spent, $30,000.
Or you go to Fiverr, and you can pay old people and throughout the nation to watch a video all the way through.
Yeah.
And no, people do that. Yeah. No, I mean, you could pay them $2 to watch your video all the way through, and then you rank up. I've never done that because the answer is all of it, right? Like, so I don't see the harm in posting. I just think content's king, like kind of Gary Vee style, like just post, and you'll figure out what works. But I think the answer is YouTube, it's Facebook, it's Google, it's Bing, it's SEO, it's your website. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're trying to do this as a career, you're not wasting any time doing any of it. No. Right? I mean, that's how I've looked at it. And so, because you never know, maybe I'll somehow get lucky and get to catch the YouTube wave next time with Medicare, or maybe, whatever. But
you never know. Yeah. You never know. If you're not out there, you're not going to know. But hey, guys,
try everything before doing nothing.
I think we're gonna wrap it up because we have taken about 2 hours of your time this evening. We appreciate you guys being here. Then all the calls will not be 2 hours because we did do introductions and that took a little while. But next time I think we'll get right into some more meat. And Bob's going to be on here Wednesday. We're going to be posting stuff. Anything you guys want to know, ask for it in the group and we'll put it out there. And we really appreciate y'all being on here and part of it. And we want you all to be successful. I want you all to be as successful as you can be right up until the point that you're right there where I am, because I want to be this.
That's good.
That's actually a Gary Vee. That's the way he's put it in the past. So. I want you all to do great, just not quite.
Just not better than us.
No. All right, man. Well, I appreciate y'all being on here, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.